Okay, thank you for joining us for today's media availability with Buccaneers General Manager Jason Licht. I'd like to go ahead and throw it over to Jason for his initial comments, and then we'll start taking some questions.
I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight, and I apologize for not getting back to everybody today. It's been obviously a big day for us and for Tom, and thought it'd be easier just to address you guys in this forum. Anything I say today about Tom is an understatement in terms of what he's done for not only the Buccaneers, but for the NFL, for the Patriots, his entire career. And obviously a very big decision on his part, but we're just extremely happy that he chose us and have a lot of gratitude towards him for what he's done for this organization, for this fan base. So with that, I'll open it up.
Hello to Rick Stroud.
Jason, I'm just wondering, I know when you signed him, you hoped he would obviously win, but also leave something behind. What do you think will be, the lasting legacy of his, or the impact he'll have on your organization or your team?
There's so many to mention, I wouldn't know where to begin. He's, at least in my opinion, and I know the opinion of many, if not all, the greatest player in the history of the league. And just his dedication to winning, his dedication to preparation, and his dedication to being a leader and caring for people and everybody that surrounds him is unmatched. Like I said, anything's an understatement. I could go on and on. Yeah. But I think over the course of the last couple of years, we've come from behind in many games and had a penchant for doing that and winning. We've won a lot of games in the last couple of years, and just the belief in the team, the belief in the system, the belief in each other, and belief in your teammates. And it was been a true team effort in a lot of these in a lot of our success that we've had. So I think that's the first thing that comes to mind, is instilling that into his teammates.
Thanks.
Jenna Lane.
Hey, Jason, thanks so much for doing this. I know you've got quite a lot going on right now. How much of a challenge is it for you guys now entering free agency when you got to add possibly a quarterback onto the wish list? You've already got a number of guys that you're trying to re-sign.
Well, it's something that we knew was going to happen at some point. And it didn't completely shock us in the last 24 hours, to be honest with you, that this could happen. So we've been preparing. We were in this situation a couple of years ago where Bruce and I both said, we'll have to look behind door number 2, and we're at that position again. Now we feel like we're very excited about the development of Kyle, where he's come from in the last year and what he's done. Just being able to sit behind Tom and Blaine and Ryan as well in that room with Clyde and Tom Moore and BA. So we're going to explore all avenues to try to make the best decision that we can for the organization. But it didn't come as a surprise. We totally respect Tom's decision, and it's an unbelievable feat on his part, not just his career. And we've only had him for less than 10% of his career, but what he's done for us is monumental and will transcend many generations here in Tampa. But we'll have to make the decision that's best for us moving forward, and we're prepared for doing that.
And I know you guys really were trying to maximize the window that you had with him, so you were able to borrow from the future. Is that something that you guys will continue to be able to do, having that roster flexibility, again, of borrowing from the future, trying to kind of keep that roster intact and possibly add more guys?
We feel like we have a really good foundation on our team. I think BA has already said that this isn't a rebuild, this is a reload. I look at it a little bit as a remodel. So it's and agree with BA. We've got 7 of our 9 Pro Bowlers under contract next year. We've got a lot of really good young players on this team. We're going to try to re-sign some of our players back and we'll continue to explore players in free agency as well. And we have the draft coming up. We're here in Mobile right now, working on that. So we do not feel at all like we're in a situation where we have to completely start from scratch with this roster whatsoever. We have a lot of good players that a lot of teams are very wish they were in our position.
Greg Allman.
Hey, Jason, obviously having Tom here changed things so much in terms of the expectations and the high level it's set for being a playoff team, being a contender. How important in these next 6 weeks here before free agency is it to find a quarterback that allows you to continue that as you get other people to weigh their decisions about coming back as free agents this spring?
Well, I think it's important that we just look at the entire team as well. Now, this is we've had, like I said, in the last couple of years, we've won a lot of games, and it's been a team effort. And Tom will be the first to tell you that. Tom is an unbelievable quarterback, the best. And we'll have to make decisions and figure out what we think is the best decision moving forward for the Buccaneers. Whether that's someone in house, whether that's there's the draft, there's trades, there's free agency. So we've been working on it right now. Now today isn't the day that I want to give out our plan of what we're going to do. It's more kind of celebrating Tom and what he's done for us, and which has been very substantial to say the least.
Thanks, Jason.
Sarah Walsh.
Hey, Jason, we talk so much about, this bar that Tom sets. And for you and Spytech and these guys in the front office, you guys have sort of set this insane bar over the last 2 years, right? So 2 years ago in this position, we're in an off season, and then you guys come out with this announcement that Tom Brady's here, right? Like, so no matter what, can you just speak about personally? I mean, this is a tough act to follow up, right? Like, there is no Tom Brady that's coming, right? You can't replace a Tom Brady. So for you personally, as you try to fill this and you reflect back to where you were 2 years ago and what you've done, what do you do for an encore in a situation like that?
Well, I guess that remains to be seen. I have a lot of faith. I know Bruce does as well. I know our entire coaching staff, my staff, the entire building has a lot of faith in the players that we have on this team, and we'll continue to add. I think that the experience that they've had in the last couple of years has made this team a lot better. There is no replacing. You're not going to find another Tom Brady, but you can find a good player, and you can develop good players, and everyone will step up, and they've learned throughout the last couple of years how to do that. And I think just the experience that they've had the last couple of years playing with Tom Brady is just something that are lessons that are invaluable. So we're very excited about the future still. We're very excited about the team that we have, and we'll just continue to march forward.
We'll go to Ira Kaufman.
Hey, Jason, just want to talk to you about where this franchise is at this moment. Jason, 29-10, Vince Lombardi Trophy. You had a lot of good players in their prime, Jason. So when you add all that up, wouldn't it be tough to hand the keys over under center to an inexperienced quarterback at this stage of where the franchise is?
Well, we'll continue to look for the best available option, whether that's someone here or someone out there. But like I said, this team has grown together. It's the best locker room I've ever been a part of, and I think BA said the same thing. And I know a lot of our players share that belief, and that bond is very strong. And the experiences that we've had, that can take you places that having a bunch of new players may not be able to do. So whether you're handed over to an inexperienced guy or a veteran, I think the leaders that we have on this team, Levante being one, will definitely help and bring that person along, whoever it is.
And Jason, what in your mind is your top priority on the defensive side of the ball, Jason, to improve?
Right now, we have a lot of priorities, and just like you do every year, you could be coming off the Super Bowl and you have priorities like we were last year. So we want to obviously get better. We want to get faster. We want to get more athletic, and we want to be physical and play on our terms. So we have a lot of decisions that we have to make here in the coming weeks. And like I said, today I was hoping that we could just talk mostly about Tom Brady.
John Romano.
Hey, Jason, 2 years ago, you talked about what you and BA were looking for, you behind door number 2. The roster was in a position at that point where you wanted the best quarterback you could absolutely find, regardless of how long he was going to play with the team. Where the roster is today, do you go into free agency with the same thought, or are you more open, or are you looking for somebody who might be a longer term solution?
Well, we'll have to go down every avenue. It's a little bit different landscape than it was a couple years ago with the quarterbacks that were available in free agency. So we'll have to go down every avenue. We'll have to turn over every stone. I hate to use cliches like that, but we will. I think our roster is in better position than we were 2 years ago in terms of the young talent we have and the experience that they have at this point, what we've gone through in the last couple of years. So I'm excited about that.
Scott Reynolds.
Hey, Jason, Tom helped you attract some of the top free agents because players wanted to play with him and for you and the Buccaneers. The first one was Rob Gronkowski, whom you traded for. Do you suspect that Gronk won't return now as well?
No, I don't suspect that. I think that's yet to be seen. I'm giving Rob the respect to give him some time to see how he feels here in the coming weeks after a long, grueling season, especially when you played in the league for 11 years. You need a little time to think things through, to see if you want to go through it another year. And from my conversations with Rob, he just needs that. I don't think it's going to be independent on whether or not Tom came back or not, from what I understand. And I know that Rob had an incredible experience here as well. And he was a big factor in us having the success that we did. So we would welcome Rob back with open arms, but we're giving him the space right now to decide what he wants to do.
And are you concerned that Brady's departure might make it more difficult for you to return some of your top free agents, especially guys on offense like, say, Chris Godwin or Ryan Jensen?
I will say this. I know that our players love playing here. They love playing for this coaching staff. They love this fan base. They love this town. I would say that our players, the core of our players, are what attracted Tom Brady to come to Tampa. So I think that will continue. If Tom chose us, I think that will continue to help other players make their decision to come to Tampa as well, because we have a lot of very good players and an unbelievable coaching staff.
Kevin O'Donnell.
Hi, Jason. You talked about, in Tom's first year, just the culture change that he brought to One Buck. And you're hoping that's something that will, last a long time here with this organization. In what ways did Tom maybe help you or maybe change your perspective in how you approach this organization?
Well, it started, 3 years ago with Bruce, and he really helped set the tone here with the culture. And then adding Tom on after that was really a game changer. So the two of them combined. And what I've learned from both of them is that just exceptional leadership from the head coach and from the quarterback, or whatever players that you have on your team. Like I've mentioned, Levante, Devin. I mean, I could go on and on. Ryan Jensen and Ali Marpet, and even some of the young players like Tristan and Donovan. The leadership goes a long way, and so does the cohesiveness of the locker room. It's been said a lot, but it can't be said enough that this team, this locker room is as tight as I've ever seen one. And I think that was the key to us, one of the major keys, in addition to having Tom Brady and Bruce Arians as our head coach, to us winning. So I think that will continue. We're losing a legend in Tom, and no one wants to lose a legend, but the lessons that he's provided for these guys with his actions and his leadership, along with our head coach, who we still have, are going to continue to let our team continue to build on it, and we're going to have continued success because of it. I'm confident in that.
Was there any concern with Bruce? I mean, obviously, he turned 70 this year. I don't think he wants to be around for a rebuild. You mentioned remodel. So does he see the plan in place that he's happy with? That obviously he said he wants to stay. There must be something there that he sees that he has a positive outlook for.
Bruce sees a lot of really good players on this team. He sees a very close relationship between myself and him and the front office and the coaches, which is very hard to find in this day and age of sports. When it's this close, it usually breeds success, and we have that. And it's such a rarity that he doesn't want to leave on this yet. So I can't say enough good things about Bruce and our relationship, but not just our relationship, but the relationship between the coaches and the front office and everybody in that building.
We have time for a few more. We'll go back to Greg Allman.
Hey, Jason, as you guys navigate a lot of decisions this spring, up against it tight with the salary cap, you guys had made moves with Tom's contract this time a year ago to create some cap space, and those set up a bonus that's supposed to be paid this week, and also potential repayment if he retired. Is it reasonable to think that those two will kind of be a wash and cancel each other out?
Yeah, that's really a moot point. We've been talking with Tom's agents. We have a great relationship with Don and Steve Dubin and Don Yee, and we've been talking about that. That's really a moot point. And we knew that if this we were in this scenario, that we would be able to work that out. So that's, besides, I don't like to talk about contracts publicly, but we'll be able to work that out.
Jenna Lane.
Jason, I know it was really important for Tom to call you guys and to let you guys know of his intentions before putting out an announcement. If you could, are there any things that you can share from that conversation with Tom, between you and Tom, and what that was kind of like for you? And also, if I may, does this in any way speed up the timetable for Kyle Trask's development?
Well, I like to keep conversations as confidential as possible, but I will say that Tom and I have a unbelievable relationship built on trust. Both of us held true to our word from when we started together here. I feel this is not about me, but I feel extraordinarily lucky that I was there from Tom's beginning to his end. His first pass, his last pass, his first touchdown, last touchdown. So that's pretty cool. I'll be able to tell my grandchildren about that, hopefully, at some point. But the call that he made when he chose us, and then the call that he made to me last night when he made his final decision, they're on different ends of the spectrum, but at the same time, they're both very special and both special moments to talk to an hour or whatever it was with him. I don't necessarily think that we need to speed up the process with Kyle, because I think we have him on a good track right now, and he's been well coached, and he's had the unbelievable resources to lean on to get to where he is right now. But we'll see where that goes. We don't want to rush anybody, but it's been I couldn't think of a better experience for a young quarterback to spend his rookie year than with the greatest player of all time.
Rick Stroud.
Jason, you don't pick first overall, that's for sure. You're where you want to be, down at the bottom. But with respect to quarterbacks, have you changed your sort of philosophy? I mean, you have a team that's ready to win now. You see the Rams, what they did with Matthew Stafford. Is it harder to develop quarterbacks now or to wait on them? You went that path with Jameis Winston, and 5 years went by without much success there.
I think it all depends upon the team that's around you, that's around them, the talent that you have, which I think we have great talent, and the coaching staff, which I feel like we have a great coaching staff that got, in Kyle's case, from day one. So I think it all depends. It seems easy to fans to feel like we can just go ahead and offer a trade to bring a great quarterback in here, but the teams you're talking to are then going to be looking for a quarterback. So it's no one wants to be in a position where they don't have a quarterback, and we feel very, very fortunate. And we're not crowning Kyle as the heir apparent yet, but we feel very fortunate that we got him when we did last year, because where he stacks up with quarterbacks in this year's draft, it's going to be everybody is going to have their own opinion, but I feel pretty good about where he stacks up with these quarterbacks. So I feel like we made a good decision last year.
We'll finish with Joey Knight and then Sarah Walsh.
Jason, like you said, you've been with Tom since day one. The whole world knew what you were getting when he signed a couple years ago, but did he even exceed?
Not the whole world.
Did he even exceed your expectations? Was this 2 years even better than you thought it would be?
That's hard to say. I had the experience with him. I knew what he was going to be like. You never know how it's going to, there's so many factors that can go into play that are outside of the realm of the quarterback and the head coach and the GM and the team. It was the most rewarding 2 years that I could imagine. More rewarding would have been 2 Super Bowls, but the fact that we won a Super Bowl and then this year had the best record in the league along with the Packers, it was just something that you couldn't draw up. It's something that will be talked about for generations. It's awesome for me to see whenever I'm in different parts of the country, to see people with Buccaneer jerseys, to see young kids wearing Tom Brady jerseys. I think it's just it's an unbelievable fairy tale story that we'll be talking about forever.
Last question from Sarah Walsh.
So on that note, Jason, when you talk about it being an unbelievable fairy tale, and this is the end of that chapter, can you just take us back to that night? And I know you don't want to share the confidential conversation you had with Tom when he said, "I'm coming here," but when you hung up the phone and you went to bed that night, can you just describe what that evening before it broke to the world, what it was like for you knowing, hey, I just got Tom Brady to come here?
Well, the room was spinning a little bit. Because of, we were so excited, but we also celebrated a little bit. And it was just, I felt so proud of my staff. I felt so proud of the coaching staff and for the entire organization for what we had put together for him to choose us and the hard work that went into that for many years. And the ownership for giving us the green light to pursue this. It just all came together at once. And it was just a plan that you always feel very proud when a plan comes together. And this was the ultimate plan that will forever be remembered.
All right, that's all we have. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, guys.